What's up, guys? My name is Jack. You're watching JBTCG, and today I think we have the opportunity to invest in Japanese Pokemon products at an amazing price point. Japanese Pokemon products from the Scarlet Violet, Sword and Shield, and Sun and Moon eras have been decreasing by about 20% across the board. The Japanese market for these sets has taken a massive hit, while the English side is doing amazingly. These past 6 months have been really rough, and even great Sun and Moon sets like Tag Team All-Stars are not immune. If you have positions in these products, that is unfortunate, but if you don't, this may be a great time to get a great entry point. Before I can explain why I have some confidence in the Japanese market and I like these price points, we have to first talk about why these products are decreasing across the board. I can't give you a definitive reasoning for why this is happening and a general rule across the board, but we can speculate a little bit and look at some data to give us kind of a good idea of what is happening and what may be causing these price declines. So first off, the Japanese yen has taken a hit and the Japanese economy as a whole isn't doing that great. So we'll take a look at the exchange rates for Japanese yen and compare it to US, Canada, and Australian dollars. So on January 1st of 2024 in the US, the exchange ratio was $1 to 141.13 Japanese yen. Today, that exchange ratio is $1 for 160.72 yen. This means that the Japanese yen has dropped around 12.2% in value over those 7 months. Now, if we take a look at the Canadian dollar, one Canadian dollar would exchange for 106.56 yen on January 1st of 2024, and today that ratio is $1 to 117.89 yen. That is a 9.6% drop in value. And finally, if we take a look at the Australian dollar, that is one Australian dollar for 96.11 yen on January 1st of 2024. And today, that is one Australian dollar for 108.36 yen. That is an 11.4% drop in value. Okay, so across the board, the Japanese yen has dropped around 10% in value. What have the popular Japanese Pokemon sets done in that same time frame? Well, Tag Team All-Stars was $482 in January and has since dropped to $409 in July of 2024. Fusion Arts was $134 in January and has since dropped to $112 today. And finally, Blue Sky Stream, the famous set with the Rayquaza VMAX, which catches a price tag of $725, has dropped from $411 a box in January of 2024 to $342 today. So we've seen around a 17 to 20% drop in value across all of these sets. Now, it may seem like I handpicked or cherry-picked these sets to fit this narrative, but the reason I chose these was because they are great sets with great chase cards. Fusion Arts has that Gengar VMAX, Blue Sky Stream has that Rayquaza VMAX, and Tag Team All-Stars is famously amazing. And also, in this past 7-month period, none of these sets have been reprinted or any news of them being reprinted in the future has come out. So the fluctuations in their value are purely due to the secondary market. And if we attribute 10% of their drop in value to the Japanese yen decreasing that 10% in that time, what is that other 7 to 10% coming from? Well, it may come from a decrease in confidence in Japanese products or a decrease in interest in those same products. Now, this is much harder to quantify or find data on, so this is more of a speculative part. As we know, the Pokemon Company in Japan has been hiking up the amount of reprints they make to subdue scalpers and kind of get rid of that scalper culture. And also, they're making a shitload of money while doing it. They reprinted every 2023 set in the past 2 months and had an extra large reprint for 151. And next, they'll be unloading a massive amount of Paradigm Trigger and Lost Abyss onto the market. The trend of reprinting a lot of these latter half of Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet sets may have decreased a lot of confidence on these products, which could be a factor at play for why these sets are decreasing in price. However, this does not explain why Tag Team All-Stars has decreased the same amount in that time. Another reason why these products may have decreased such a dramatic amount in this time is that because the yen is falling, because the economic times in Japan aren't doing so well, it has forced people that are in Japan, distributors or people with access to a lot of product, to want to liquefy their assets and thus increase the amount of supply in the market past the amount of demand at that higher price point and decrease the value of these products significantly past what we would expect. But that is just speculative and we can't be certain. Okay, if everything seems so negative in the Japanese market, why do I have any confidence in buying now? Well, some of these products have reached their floor price. This means that these products have dropped to a price where it's just too enticing to buy them, and demand prevents them from decreasing further than that. Sets like Vstar Universe and Japanese 151 have shown this resistance. What helps these sets is that they're almost universally loved and they have great chase cards and great collectability. Going off eBay pricing here, 151 dropped to the mid to low 60s and has since bounced back post reprint to low 70s to high 60s. Now, another wave of reprints is likely to come in the next few weeks here, so we might see another further drop, but I'm confident that it won't drop much lower than this unless the amount of supply is just astronomically above the demand level. Vstar Universe has also dropped to the mid to high 60s for a shrink-wrapped box, but hasn't really budged anything below that in the past 2 months. Refusal to drop below these arbitrary floor prices gives me confidence that these products won't completely crash in the future. And the low price point and low entry point for these products makes me think it's a great time to buy. And obviously, some sort of massive economic turmoil or some sort of black swan event could come in and wreck all of this. But with the current data we have, I do feel confident in some of these sets. But am I confident in every set? No. There are definitely some sets that are bad, and some Pokemon sets will outperform others every day of the week. But just like investing in stocks, there are winners and there are losers. This brings me back to the classic example of the 2008 housing crisis in the US, where the American economy kind of imploded. If you bought in the stock market at any time during this period, you would be rich today. Even if you bought in halfway down the crash that the S&P 500 had, and your stock prices went down a further 30%, you would still be up by around 4 times today. That's pretty incredible. Now, does the Japanese economy equal the US economy, and will the exact same economic conditions repeat? No, likely not. The Japanese and US economies are completely different and they're hinged on completely different things. But I don't think the Japanese yen will fall forever, as the Japanese economy has valuable exports, especially in the automotive industry. Now, do I think Japanese booster boxes are a better investment than English ones? No, not particularly, especially since the English booster boxes have been showing that they've been performing great and that they've continued to perform really well over the past 7 months, where the Japanese ones have been struggling. But I like to diversify my Pokemon investments beyond purely English product. I personally think that Vstar Universe, 151, Lost Abyss, and Shiny Treasure EX are good investments, and that they're not very far away from their bottomed out floor price. And even if they decrease another 10-15%, I think they will bounce back in the future. And I think Japanese 151 will be the first one leading the charge. Out of every single set I've seen opened on Whatnot, TikTok livestream, etc., Japanese 151 is the most opened. Across English, Japanese, Korean, Japanese 151 is being opened every single day and is being chased by millions and millions of people. So I think it's a great pickup. I've personally picked up a bunch of Japanese 151, but I could always be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, these videos aren't financial advice. They are just my thoughts and opinions. Do your own research before making any decisions or any purchases with the purpose of investment. I just thought I'd take a little break from discussing English Pokemon and dabble a little bit into the Japanese market. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what your favorite Japanese Pokemon set is down in the comments, and as always, stay safe out there.